This lot have been really active lately. I'd really like to.
Free of charge, yeah. Can't be bad.
Something good will come out of this. Yes, because it always does.
Hello.
Yes.
Very well, thank you.
Thank you. Do the barcode.
The barcode, and you will take the petition, sign it, please. We need every signature.
You didn't tell me what it's about, so I don't
About Reiner Fuellmich. He's a good man that needs our support. He's in prison, nearly 3 years now.
Are there any more people planning on coming, or is it just you guys?
No, it's a few more, but not a huge crowd. Definitely no over 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long do you reckon you'll be here?
Reckon until 3, something like that.
Yeah, half free.
Something, yeah, half 3. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Okay, bye.
Energy drink.
So good morning everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Here we are. Let's
Yep. This is the letter. Of the petition.
So here we are outside the German embassy in London, UK. What are you all doing here?
We're here to support Reiner, to show him our support, to show him our love, to unite with all people around the world, and to deliver this petition.
Who is Reiner?
Reiner Fuellmich, he's a lawyer. He's a lawyer, and he's been in prison, German prison now for nearly 3 years.
Aha, where does he come from originally?
He's a German born, and for some time he lived in America as well. He practiced there his law, but then he was unfortunately kidnapped and taken forcibly back to Germany. Yes.
Why?
This was probably because of his work on the vaccine, because he did a lot of investigative work with the Corona Committee, later with the Nuremberg trials, and this was of course not popular view, but he was following scientists and other lawyers from around the world, gathering them together to give evidence, and for that he's been taken.
So what actually did he discover?
Well, he discovered that all the tests that they were used for the COVID, they were actually not effective. They would not be able to show that there's actually infection in your body. They were not correct. You couldn't establish that you have had a COVID or not. So that was his main area, because he said all the restrictions and everything else was based on the premise that those tests were absolutely accurate, and therefore justified the lockdowns, would justify the need for vaccines and so forth. So he was interviewing a lot of scientists and doctors from around the world and finding out the science behind the COVID vaccines, behind the tests, and finding out that all of this just didn't make any scientific sense, any medical sense at all.
So what was the significance of the fact that the tests didn't make sense?
Because if you establish that the tests don't make sense, therefore you eliminate the need for restrictions, eliminate the need for the vaccine, because that means people are actually not having a COVID. There is no need to isolate you. There is no need for you to have a vaccine, as it was implied that you should have one. There is no need for any restrictions whatsoever for wearing a mask.
So who makes a profit out of that? I mean, why? What is the motive behind the tests if they're no good?
Well, that was the work of the Corona Committee and the Nuremberg trials. You know, there's an interest of big pharmaceutical companies, we know, which work hand in hand with governments around the world, with WHO. This is all big money, big investments at the harm of people. Yeah.
So you told us that he was living in America.
Yes.
How come? Why?
I think he was having his practice there. I'm not sure exactly how his connections were there, but he was practicing as well law there from that side of the ocean. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you told us he was kidnapped.
Yes.
How? Why?
During his travels, on the way back to the United States, he was refused entry. And then his passport, apparently he lost his passport with his wife Inka. And then I'm not sure, because he never elaborated how they were lost. Maybe they were not lost, maybe someone taken from them. Anyway, they had to apply for new passports when they were in Mexico. And they completed the paperwork, and when they completed the paperwork, they received a message they need to come back to sign something else again. When they went to the paperwork, they were told that the embassy in Mexico is closed for renovation, and they need to go to airport. And at the airport, they find out that the immigration officers just surrounded them and claimed that they were illegal in the country, and that they will be deported. So it was discussed as a deportation from Mexico on the basis they were illegal, although everybody knew they were not illegal.
So they were deported to where?
To Germany. It was on the press of the German side to have them deported because there were no grounds for extradition. Neither Reiner or his wife Inka committed any crime. There was no justification for this order at all. So they have to discuss as the mock deportation on the basis of his illegal stay there.
So why do we think that he was put in prison?
Well, we know he was put in prison because...
Sure, but why?
For a long time he was fighting against very big giants, giant corporations, giant businesses, and obviously he got in the way of people, and he was getting these Nuremberg trials to come forward, to develop into a serious trial to bring those to justice, those who committed those terrible crimes. So I think that was the prevention of his work, to bring those who are responsible for these vaccines, for these terrible mandates around the world to justice, and he had to be stopped.
So has he been brought to a trial at all?
Yeah, he waited 18 months for the pre-trial in Germany. That was way too long, because the German law says that you have to you can only be in the pre-trial, kept in the pre-trial for 6 months, I believe, and then it's 6 months, and then he was kept for 18 months. So that's already in itself, this is broken the law already. And then he had the hearing after that time, but that hearing was just a sham hearing anyway, because all the accusations were dismantled by his legal team, but the judge just created a new reasons to keep him in prison.
Wow.
Yeah.
How has he been treated in prison? Do we know?
Not great. From what we know, he's been put a lot in the isolation, in solitary space for over 6 months, and then he's been denied visits by his own team, been denied conversations with his wife Inka, been denied even to hear from supporters. Then I heard as well that the next cell next to him, they had the inmate place who had the mental health issues, and that would make noise all the time. And despite the fact that there were other cells available in the prison, they put it next to Reiner so that he could not sleep, but during the day he could also not concentrate on writing his own defense because he was just so exhausted from, well, this is a torture, I think he called white torture, because that's what
They have moved him now, haven't they?
They've moved him, yes, but that's what's been happening here. So and of course during his trials as well, he was not allowed to speak, he was not allowed to defend himself. So
And he was the voice of reason.
Yes.
Way back in 2000.
Totally.
And that's why they're punishing him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite some story. You know, the strange thing is that here in England nobody's ever heard of him. You know, I hadn't heard of him until Anna told me something about him a year ago.
I know, I sought him out and found him way back in 2000.
Really?
Whenever it was,
Back in 2000?
Not 2000, 2020. At the beginning of COVID. Because things weren't adding up. Things were just, you know, I felt very uncomfortable. Didn't know what was happening. What was this coronavirus? You know, coronavirus has existed for a long time. What was going on? So it was literally seeking out anyone and everyone that was in a similar camp as me, you know, trying to find out information, trying to, you know, see what we should be doing, and everything that we were told, the 3-foot distancing, the masking, everything felt like it was wrong. It just didn't feel like it was the right thing to be doing. And when I found Dr. Fuellmich, I just thought, oh my God, another voice of reason, you know, and you know, you just latch on to anybody that talks sensibly and realistically about what's going on.
It's a funny one, isn't it? There's never any concrete reason. There's nothing you can really put your finger on, at least for me. It's just a vague sense that there's something wrong.
It's gut feeling. And we mustn't underestimate our gut feeling.
Absolutely.
And we were talking about that earlier.
That's right,
You know, gut feeling is so important.
And also the fact that the questions weren't answered. Some obvious questions we were asking, nobody was answering them.
Right.
And that seems so strange and so scary, actually. So,
And to compound things even more, now we're being told that the 3-foot distancing was something plucked out of the air. The masking had no scientific background to it. We're being told all that, but where is it on mainstream media? We're not being told. I want someone to stand up and say, sorry, we made a mistake, or we did it intentionally because we wanted to test how far we could push it, whatever it is. I want someone to stand up and apologise. And nobody is doing that. And what they are doing is they're persecuting good people that you know had a good voice of reason way back in 2020.
Wow. I do wonder, maybe you people know, is Fuellmich known in Germany itself?
It's certainly better known there, but I think for anyone during that time, at the beginning of COVID, who was searching for answers, because we all want to know, are we going insane? Because what is happening, it's not how it should be, that shouldn't be our response. Then I think lots of people come to know his name. He became very familiar name himself, like also like Mike Gideon or Dr. McCullough, all these people who are actually talking sense and talking real science, and we were holding on to them because for us that was the sanity and that was truth. That was truth. You know, you were listening to Reiner and you knew I'm listening to the voice of truth, and he kept us going. You know, we knew that okay, there's a hope. There's a hope.
And an intelligent, educated man who was asking the same questions as everybody. And it was lovely reassuring to have somebody like that airing the things that we were thinking and then investigating them so that he could try and get some answers to the questions that we all had.
That's what he was doing.
Absolutely.
Investigating. Looking and investigating, asking questions, talking to virologists, talking to scientists, doctors. everybody he could think of who had expertise in that field.
Exactly.
He was investigating. He didn't want to come to a foregone conclusion. He wanted to find the truth, and that was so refreshing to find somebody who did that. It's like being in the presence of a cool mountain stream. It was just such a relief. That somebody was asking questions and making sense of stuff.
Right. I will say one thing. I did read the first few pages of the big statement, which gave his early history and a list of all the people that he consulted over the years. But it didn't actually explain, well, what were his conclusions? I haven't seen that anywhere.
No.
Have you?
Yes.
You have? Okay.
Yes, his conclusions were that the CRP tests were completely ineffective. That was the first conclusion. Yes, and based on that, everything else falls apart, because that was the grant for building up the whole infrastructure of having this distance, even promoting vaccines and so forth. So everything else would fall without that test, because as you remember, before you could go anywhere, you had to show that you had taken your test and that you're clear. But how can you be clear if this is not effective? But
also the test, as you said, Anna, it was totally made up, because they amplified the test so much that it was so sensitive that it picked up dead cells. It didn't even have to be picking up a live virus. So it was a waste of money and time. And then we go back to who benefited. Well, the pharmaceutical industry complex. They obviously, we've got more billionaires now than we ever had before. Billionaire was a strange concept. It was a rare concept. Now every other ex-millionaire is a billionaire. So that divide between the rich and the poor is even bigger now.
And what's in it for the government itself? The German government, the British government, any government?
Well, that's a whole different conversation that we could have. But I think that the government are there to deliver the will of the elites. They're not there to... We don't have a real democracy. They're not there to deliver what I want and what the democratic public wants. They're there to deliver what the billionaires want.
Right. Yep.
Because that's the ones that actually make business. Because of the government compliance and agreement, these big companies would make a donation to the government to support the campaign, and be allowed then to roll out those tests or masks or other PPE equipment. I mean, how many scandals we have? That PPE equipment was missold at a terrible price, something that is so cheap,
and nothing went out to tender either. They were allocated contracts to their friends and buddies. So it was all a big scam, a financial scam, and it was, I think, a test to see how far they could push us as the general public.
I think it's the first time in history maybe that the politicians have actually overridden medical expertise and medical protocols. Because that's what was happening in America, I know, and here I think as well.
Definitely here as well. Anyone that questioned anything was censored immediately. And we've had people from, the Lancet journals being questioned about their validity now. It was just top to bottom a big... I don't know what to call it, an operation, to see how far they could get what they wanted implemented, and they silenced people that spoke out against it.
So here we are outside the German embassy in London. Anna, you told us that they've refused to arrange an interview or 2 o'clock or something.
Yes, I tried to get an appointment twice. I didn't get a response at all, so completely ignored. But I did inform them. I explained why we're here and why we're here today. I gave my contact details. They haven't responded to me. However, we have spoken to embassy staff today and confirmed that's why we're here, and that at 2 o'clock will be handing over the petition. Whether we have a door closed open, I don't know. We hope they'll be open and that we can hand over the petition. If not, we just leave it peacefully there on the floor.
Do we know which door we can knock on?
That one
Over
there,
there.
the big door.
Oh, okay.
That one out.
It's good to know which door.
We sussed it out. Yeah, so let's hope the letter is inside, already printed.
Right.
QR codes for the petition. So
Fantastic.
Interesting.
2 o'clock, huh?
2 o'clock,
Not
sun.
long to go.
Yes, not long to go.
Okay.
Very excited. Let's see what the response will be like. It's not like I expect response, but
How are we going to know a response?
probably from the Reiner's team in Germany.
Okay.
They will confirm if they received any response from any of the embassies, I guess. Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gonna follow you up. Okay.
So this is it.
This is it. We're delivering the letter.
You're delivering the letter.
Delivering the writing on the letter. Susan Brennan, which is the consul here in London. They're aware of our presence. They're aware we are coming at 2 o'clock. I'll say we don't know whether we're gonna be accepted or not, but we're gonna give it a try.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go. We made the embassy and we spoke to your staff today that 2 o'clock we will come to deliver the letter. We said that they will let you know. No, we need to deliver today to you. We're not posting it because it doesn't have a mark. We leave it at the door. Okay, well we'll leave it at the door then. If you don't want to take it, we'll leave it at the door. For the
box in front of the room. Red
Of-
box for the mail.
I can't hear you, sorry.
Red box mail at the side of the room.
Oh yeah, but the letter needs to be delivered today.
Don't take nothing by hand.
Well, we leave it here. We made the staff aware that we're delivering the document and they said that they will let you know.
Okay.
Okay, we'll leave it here then.
Just speak with the staff.
Okay, there it is. The letter is on there.
Why won't they let us in?
They said they will not accept anything, but that wasn't, we were not told that this morning.
Okay.
This morning we were told that we'll be able to deliver the letter. Now we're told that we just have to post it. Okay. Then this is done open.
Doesn't fit underneath.
Let's see.
No.
This German door.
Worth a try.
Security.
Yes, right.
Just makes a security risk, really.
No, it's safe. You can check the letter, mister. Okay, we've got it recording, so our German team. This is where we are.
Bye-bye letter.
Bye-bye letter. Make a hand to Susan Baumann. Greetings. That's a shame because they knew we were coming. I informed them in writing and we spoke to them this morning. That's all. Okay. Okay. It's only six of them. Only six of them. That's our German friend said. The reaction of the embassy will be interesting to see what it's like on the day. So that's where we are. Our letter has been delivered to the door, not into anyone's hands, despite assurances today morning that the staff will be aware and that when we come, we'll be able
Do we know who actually was on the intercom?
that looks like a receptionist guy. It's just a receptionist guy.
Yeah.
Right, so it wasn't any
And they didn't say
diplomat?
come to the side entrance there. They didn't say it. No, okay.
No, he just said to go to the posted to the Royal Mail. There's a red box. Yeah. I will drop the letter.
It's
So it's facing up.
alright. Yeah.
Yeah. They just walk over it. Yeah. Oh well.
it's worth. All right. At least it stayed there. Oh, that
But for how long? This is a quarry. I think they'll probably when we're done, he will just come out and just put it in the bin. Who knows? I mean,
I wouldn't worry about that actually. No, their refusal is just for show. I mean, they'll take it, all right. We are in public here.
Please. No, I don't take the envelope. No. I don't take it. It's not allowed. Please take the camera away and make it switch it off, please. Or I have to call the police.
Okay, we're going.
Sir, take the envelope.
No, we use for the concert to take it. We made the concert.
What will happen to it? Is he going to throw it away? She hasn't taken it, she's just moved it to one side.
Okay, well that's good.
I'm not to want to accept a letter of which they were aware. They were very much aware of the action, and they know who is Reiner Fuellmich anyway. We are just, filling in.
I was quite surprised at the strength of her reaction.
I think she was annoyed by, the continuous filming.
There's a lot of aggression.
Yeah, she seemed quite tense. You cannot stay here, you must go, or I call the police.
But the silly thing is, we were already leaving.
Yes.
That's the crazy thing, we were on our way out.
Already. So, we have this on the recording, because that's the main thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, do you think we've done our day's work?
Not with the results that I was hoping for. I think all of us, we hoped for a better reception of their own citizen after all. It's their own citizen. But this is the best we can do.
Right.
Template of a letter from our friends ICIC Law, Reiner's people. They sent it to us. We just fill in which embassy, obviously for different countries, different embassies, so just have to fill in the top bit and just put our signatures at the back, that's all.
Right.
That's the original letter.
Right.
And at the back you have the QR codes where the consul can see the petition. This is a peaceful protest, peaceful request for support for their own citizen. Yeah, for just trial. Oh, so nice to see you. You made it. Really.
And you heard about him at the start of COVID?
At the start of COVID, yes, his first message, and he was doing these podcasts with Viviana Fischer and interviewing lots of different people to gather and glean evidence, saying that it was like Nuremberg.
So then they fell out.
Yes.
What did you think when you heard that they fell out?
I was more inclined to believe and stick on Reiner's side because he instigated it, and I was always a little bit suspicious of this look that Viviana Fischer had with her hair and the clip trying to look a little bit more holier and innocent than thou, and I don't know what the way he handled himself just had more integrity, more truth, the ring of truth about it, and he had more substance to what he was saying. She seemed more like his secretary to me, but he was definitely the brains behind the operation.
Right. I mean, what I've read only very recently is that it was all about money that they fell out.
Yes.
And my thought was, now that feels a bit fishy to me, the whole thing.
Yes. Viviana Fischer is fishy Fischer. No, I don't really know too much about that, and I didn't have time to look into the detail. I just went with my gut on everything I'd heard from Reiner and everything I'd watched, and just being convicted in my spirit really that he was the one telling the truth.
Right. So you got involved with the campaign? Is that
only as an observer through Telegram, and I've seen all these lovely messages of support to him, and when I realised that this was happening today for his birthday in London, it was close enough to home to be something I could participate in.
So you come up from Eastbourne?
Eastbourne, an hour-and-a-half's train journey.
Wow, that's I think that's a pretty amazing commitment.
Well, I can't imagine what it must be like to have your freedom taken away, and I just feel for them both, pray for them both, and especially his wife. You can't get your life back, can you? And all he was doing was standing up for humanity, standing up for truth, and doing the right thing, and it's horrendous that it can cost him his freedom, and that we live in a world that can do that to somebody. You know, I've got somebody in the group who's a grandma, and her own daughters rejected her because she wouldn't take the COVID jabs. She needed a hug, she needed a meal, she needed somewhere to go to, she needed a safe place to be angry, to cry, to express her beliefs and why she didn't want to take the jab, and she just couldn't understand that her own family wouldn't let her see her grandchildren because they thought she was a danger to them because she wasn't jabbed. God didn't create the human immune system like that. He didn't create us to be a danger to one another, and suddenly it became okay overnight to ask, are you vaccinated? Well, it's none of your business, thank you very much. Our medical information is our private information. We share it if we want to, if we choose to. But suddenly overnight, oh, are you jabbed, are you not? Or you can't come to my place, you can't come for a meal, Christmas is cancelled, you know, and all the unvaccinated were suddenly excluded. And when you think of all these...
Now that's a funny one. That's an example of personal relationships being tainted by mind.
Mass psychosis, Matthias Desmet calls
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Mass psychosis. I was trying to think of the words myself. That is the tragedy. I mean, and that, I think, has happened quite a lot.
It has.
You know, that family relationships have been upset by this mind fuckery.
Yes, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. It does. It wrecks relationships, and actually you should be able to have freedom of speech and not to... We end up self-censoring, don't we? And that's a great shame, because the truth doesn't mind being questioned, but lies do, don't they?
I'm sure you heard that now there's that Tory MP, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he stood up in...
Andrew Bridgen? No.
Patrick Swain, something like that.
Okay.
A Tory MP.
Yeah.
Quite old, I mean, 60s.
Yeah.
He stood up and said in the House of Commons, privileged speech, that the death rate, the crude death rate, is utterly normal.
Yeah.
And this was in the first 6 months of lockdown. And the whips got hold of him and told him to shut the F up.
Terrible. I didn't hear about that. That's awful, isn't it?
And when I heard that, then, hang on.
It was when James Delingpole spoke with Dr. Mike Eden, and he said that he had worked with Sir Patrick Vallance, and I just listened to that podcast 3 nights on the trot and cried my heart out, because it's a lot easier to keep your head in the sand. Ignorance is bliss, isn't it? But when you waken up to the truth, there's no going back, is there? And then you start to look at other sources. So when I referenced that podcast, it made me aware of James Corbett, Andrew Bridgen. I call him the Silver Fox. There's another one in Parliament that stood up. He's a Christian. I can't remember his name, but but There were a few voices anyway, and I've never been politically active before, and I started to come up to London and go to the Houses of Parliament, and if I hadn't participated in the protest with my district nurse friend who was going to lose her job if she wasn't vaccinated, she threw her nurse's uniform over Numton Downing Street.
Really?
Yeah, and she had to, you know, feed in the house 3 children, so I said, I'll come with you, but I'm not a protester. It's the last thing I want to do, and I was frightened of, you know, agitators being in the crowd after January the 6th and everything. It could happen here, and if the police got the horses out and caging us in like cattle, I was very frightened, but I'm so glad I came because the BBC didn't report it, and because I was an eyewitness, much like the disciples in Jesus' time, I could say, well, no, you're wrong, I was there, and there were thousands of us. But they just, people at home in Eastbourne and Brighton and Hove didn't realise that there was a massive protest in London because the BBC wouldn't cover it, and it shows you the power of the media and their responsibility to tell the truth and how they failed hook, line and sinker, so people are turning to alternative media now, aren't they?
Exactly, and the same applies to me. I mean, I always used the Guardian was my Bible.
Yes.
And over the years, long before COVID, I was just
much like the political parties, they all stand for the same thing and they're regurgitating the same rubbish, and it's the narrative coming down from the state. And we've got a responsibility to question it, and we just trust, don't we? We think if someone's paid more than us, got more qualifications than us, doctors, consultants, they must be telling the truth. They can't possibly want to harm us or hurt us. But when you look into it yourself and you dig into the detail and listen to alternative voices like Dr. Peter McCullough, Dr. J. Bhattacharya, the great Barrington Declarationists, then you realise there's an alternative narrative that rings true.
Right. And even when it's nothing to do with politics, the moment you start digging for information, you realise these experts, they don't really know anything.
Diddly squat, and the devil's in the detail, and who knows how many cars will see it.
Her room might be somewhere here, it will affect her lunch.
He won't last as long as Banksy's.
Oh, I love Banksy.
You sure you want to leave it here?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a statement.
I don't want to drag it all the way back to Eastbourne. It's quite a pain to carry because I'm on foot.
Did you come back?